Moving on, are you wasting your time on low-paying activities? And I'm sure we all are. And it is an argument on if you're wasting your time or not. If it's activities that you like to do, or help you de-stress, or spend time with a family, then obviously you're not wasting your time on it. If you love working on your car, or doing yard work, or little projects around the house, then that's your de-stress time. That's stuff you enjoy. That's not wasting your time. You need to be able to do that. Otherwise, why are you working so hard? Now, if it's stuff you don't like to do, or stuff that's taking away time from better activities, then it probably is a waste. And so I put some common activities in here that most of us probably spend time on a regular basis. Washing dishes, yard work's a big one for me. My yard needs a lot of work. Projects you could outsource, that could be stuff around the house or for your business. General maintenance for your business or your house, car maintenance, your home, things like that. And then this is probably a big one for most people: chasing shiny red balls. You've probably heard of it as chasing squirrels or whatever. Running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. You'll waste a lot of time doing that. Now, you don't also want to get into the stage where you do an analysis paralysis, like, oh, I want to do everything so efficiently that I'm just going to sit here and spend hours coming up with the most efficient way to attack whatever your task is. Like, at some point you do need to take action. There is, if you're just going to sit around and spend 10 hours finding out the most efficient way to do something that would take you 3 hours to do inefficiently, then you just wasted a lot of time. So you want to have a general plan, and you'll obviously get better at things as you do it and become more efficient. But you don't want to constantly be putting out fires. If you're constantly putting out fires, then you're either in a super busy period, or you're not being efficient. It may be that you need to bring on someone to help you out. Hire some VAs, do something like that to clear some of the stuff off your plate, get some help from other contractors, co-workers, friends, family, things like that. Because you don't want to constantly be in putting out fires mode. It's not going to be good for your business, and it's not going to be good for your health and sanity. So moving on, I put over here just some how much it's costing you. And so washing dishes, I live in Colorado, minimum wage is $10.20. That should be a minimum wage job. Yard work probably pays a little bit more, probably about $15 an hour. Projects you could outsource. If you can outsource it to Fiverr.com or on the internet, or other type of VA positions, it could be $5 or less an hour depending on the project. Like currently, I am collecting information on people who've invested in real estate using their IRA. I started doing that at first on my own spare time. It wasn't super business time. I was doing it like when I'd watch Netflix or something at night, or I'd be on a break at work. So it really wasn't a big waste. And then it was nice because it helped train me how to do it, so I was able to train my VAs on how to do it efficiently. So I've hired certain groups off of Fiverr.com to pull those lists for me and gather them up. And they do a pretty decent job overall. I still have to go back and kind of scrub them for duplicates and ones that are obviously, if it's just an account number or something like that, I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. Same with P.O. boxes. But by doing that, I'm getting a list of several hundred potential investors that I know have invested in real estate using their IRA. And that's our kind of our business model here at Totes and Notes. Most of our investors are using their retirement accounts to invest with it. It's very rare where it's just cash on hand or after-tax accounts. It's almost all IRAs. And so that's our segment. So if I can find people that are knowledgeable using the IRA and have a proven track record with that, it's probably a pretty easy sell for me to get them to invest with me if they like the business model and I educate them on that. So that's what we're focusing on right now, and that was a great project that I'm outsourcing because I couldn't even tell you how many hours that I've had them spend doing this, and they get a team of 6 people to do it. I buy 6 hours at a time, and I think it cost me $30 or less, so roughly $5 an hour to get all those per batch that I get of several hundred investors. So that's what you want to do when you can. If you've got projects you can outsource for a low wage, you definitely don't want to do that. Because if I was sitting here chugging away doing it myself, I would be wasting a lot of money. I'm paying them $5 per hour to do it or less. Now, the actual value per hour, that could be, you could argue that, because if I send this out to several hundred investors, really, even if I only get 2 or 3 to respond and do business with me, that's going to be worth thousands of dollars in the future. So you could argue that, but as far as the actual task on hand, what it's worth, it's worth $5 per hour or less. And so you want to outsource as much as you can, and that buys you more time to focus on the things that will make you money, or just gets you time to spend time with your family, take care of your health, work out, eat right, get good sleep. It's all important. You don't want to burn yourself out. All right, and then moving on. So we come over here, and then maintenance was roughly probably 15, 20 bucks an hour, depending on what you're doing. Obviously, some specialists, like if you're going to have someone come in and work on your HVAC or something like that, probably make more. But I just chose that number. So then we're comparing here, what do I want to make an hour? I want to make at least $2.40 an hour minimum, if not more. Well, if I'm washing dishes, when I could be working on the business making at least $2.40 an hour, it's costing me $230 an hour each hour that I spend on that I could have been spending on the business. Yard work, $225 an hour. Ooh, so I'm not losing quite as much here, but still, if I could pay someone to come out and mow my yard and plant a little seed and everything, and then now you have to spend that time actually doing something important. If I spend it on the business, if I just go play video games or take a nap or something, maybe the nap's you could argue that that's good for me and that's, health. But if you're just spending money supposedly to save yourself money and you're not actually doing anything, you're just wasting money. Then projects I could outsource. I mean, look, $235 an hour for stuff that I could pay $5 or less an hour for someone else to do. That's a lot of money. And then maintenance, $225. The chasing shiny red balls, it doesn't. It's hard to tell what that's worth. And I'll get to a specific example that I did yesterday that, after the fact, really upset me on all the time I wasted. But we'll go back up here. So we started off at $250,000 a year I want to make. Honestly, let's dream big here. Let's do at least 7 figures. So $1 million, and I want to work 20 or less per week. If that's what you want to do, then you need to make roughly $961 an hour. That's a lot of money. So let's come down then and see what happens when you're wasting your time. Washing dishes. Ouch, $951 an hour you're basically just wasting by doing this, sweeping your floors, stuff like that. I mean, that adds up. Now, granted, you got one dish you need to wash, or you spill something, what are you going to do? Call the maid and just let your floor get stained while you wait for them to come over and clean it? That's not practical. But in general, if you could save an hour here, hour or two here a week, hour or two with clean up your house or yard work, or just whatever you find are your big time wasters that you don't like to do and are, fairly low wage for you to pay someone else to come in and do, you should examine that and see what you're doing, because 951, 946, 956, 946, that's a lot of potential time and money you could have spent on the business. That's investors you could have been meeting, deals you could have been finding, people you could have been training that will then make you money further down the road. So once you start thinking like this, it kind of gets sick. Your stomach will almost hurt with just thinking about how much time and money you're wasting that could have been more productive. Again, you need to have time for yourself. You need to have hobbies and things you love. So don't think like, oh, you enjoy building model trains. You could have been making, roughly $1,000 an hour if you didn't do that. No, that's something you want to do. That's something, there's no point just making a lot of money just to have it unless you want to be a miser. I mean, you're generally doing that for something. You're doing that for yourself, your family, friends. You're doing it so you can do the things you want to do and that your friends and family can do the things they want to do and hopefully do it with you. So that's $1 million. Let's say you want to be, you're really ambitious and you really want to ramp up your business. We'll put in $2 million. So now, $1,900 an hour, not quite $2,000 an hour if you're working 20 hours a week. That is sick. How much money you're now wasting? Almost $2,000 an hour. $1,900 an hour if you're doing this little stuff. So it's just something you want to think about. You don't want to become obsessed with it, just like you want to know that you're mortal, but you don't want to obsess about it and then think of all the ways you're going to die, all the ways you're going to waste money. It's just something you want to have in your background, and then kind of think about how you're setting up your business. Is this the best use of your time? Is you, calling certain phone calls, calling your vendors, just for regular checkups, is that the best use of your time? Or do you have someone else that could be doing a lot of that stuff for you so you can focus on the more important things, which are generally going to be finding your deals, funding them, and flipping them? You need to talk to asset managers, or, whatever your business model is. You got to find ways that you're going to bring in product. You got to figure out how you're going to sell it, or who you're going to sell it to, bring those people in, and then you actually have to get rid of it and sell it and make that profit.